more, Natalie. Okay, thank you guys. All right, so are you on page 55? Anyone would like to read it? Viri, can you read it loudly?
First, do no harm.
Okay, can you say this part? I think it's pronounced Hippocratic. Yeah, kind of. So everybody say Hippocratic Oath. Have you heard of this before? Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad to introduce something new to you because it does touch your lives in quite a probably predominant way. Probably already has that, and you may not know it. So when you become a doctor, are any of you studying to become an MD, a medical doctor? Any of you on that course, or you would like to be on that course, or you want to do that? Okay. All right. Well, so think of it this way. When you go to the doctor, when they get their license, they go to, doctors go to a lot of schooling, right? Oftentimes they'll go 1 degree, they do residency, they do multiple degrees, and then they take tests, right? And they become a doctor, right? And they get, in our society, and a lot of times get paid a lot of money, etc., to do this, right? So when they take when they get their license, they take an oath. By the way, lawyers do this too. A lot of professions do this, where they take an oath. An oath, and this one's called the Hippocratic Oath. I don't know all the history, but I know enough to tell you what's important, okay? And I want you to think about it. Part of their Hippocratic Oath is first, do no harm. Okay, do you find that interesting? These are doctors. They're about to go into practice. They're going to work with humans, and they take an oath. First, do no harm. Maybe, do you have questions in your mind? Like, why would they even do that? Does that question come in your mind? Why would a doctor even need to do that? Any thoughts, Lizette? First of all, do you feel like doctors are out to hurt people? No, right? Probably the reason they're becoming a doctor is to help people. Why in the world do they take an oath that even further, right? Don't you have people already that they don't want to hurt people? Yet they take a statement that says, first, do no harm. They're taking an oath. They're making a commitment. Like in a court of law, when they walk in, you go, do you swear to tell the truth, right? They used to say, put your hand on the Bible. I don't think they do that anymore. I think they have you hold up your hand and say, I swear I'm going to tell the truth, right? This is, I swear I'm not going to hurt people. Don't you think that's kind of crazy? Don't you think it's a little weird? Okay, so this is an interesting fact. So let me go this route with you, just to get your brain thinking. Are there times as a doctor, if you were a doctor going through your day, would there be times that you might end up hurting people?
Yeah.
Right? Do you see the risk? Do you see how important their job is? If a doctor makes a mistake or maybe makes the wrong decision, what can happen? It risks life. And maybe not just one, maybe multiple lives, right? In fact, you've heard of some very famous cases of doctors who went around and did quite the opposite of helping people, right? There's some famous sort of serial killers. There's one trial right now with a doctor on trial for 9 deaths of patients. I don't know the story to that, but you see what we mean, right? Doctors have the potential to hurt people. They're in a position where they're, literally cutting, depending if they're a surgeon, right? They could be cutting me open and inside my body, right? Things could go wrong. Okay, so what do you think of this? What do you think about this? First, do no harm. I want you to think about it, and here's the assignment. On page 55, assignment, write about being able to do whatever you want to do in the context of do no harm. How do you feel this concept applies to your life? Give specific examples. And now that I read that, I kind of see where this is headed. Okay, let's think of some other things. All right, do you believe you should be able to do whatever you want in life? Okay, I got some yeses. Do I have any head shaking no? So think about it in this context. What if what you decide to do hurts somebody else? Now does that change your opinion?
Yeah.
Okay, I got yeses on that. So, okay, right? I got all kinds of opinions. And remember, this is your opinion. You get to think what you get to think, and you're developing your brain. So you've got to, make your own decisions on this. If it's something like, give me some examples, like people as human beings, are we allowed to do things that hurt ourselves? Give me an example. Are we allowed to drink coffee? It's a legal drug. Does that hurt us?
Yeah.
Coffee's a drug, right? Maybe mild, right? And some people know, right? Some people do. Some of you drink coffee and it speeds up your heart rate. You can feel like different effects on your body. Okay, so interesting. So how about smoking? Does smoking hurt us
Yes.
when we smoke? Yeah, there's health problems with us smoking, but we're allowed to do it, right? What are we not allowed to do? Where do we draw the line? Children. Why? Because what's happening to children? What's the effect on children? It affects their system. And what I think we're talking about here is what we call secondhand smoke, right? The smoke's not just going into my lungs, it's going into somebody else's lungs. So that's where this question is headed. So take 2 minutes with that in mind and write about being able to do whatever you want in the context of do no harm. Do you feel this concept applies to your life? Give specific examples. Questions?
No.
Okay, go.